Hi, I'm Katie from Riding Warehouse, and today I'm going to show you how to properly fit and measure your horse for a dressage girth. So there's a lot of factors to consider when choosing the perfect girth for your horse, including the equipment you use and your horse's conformation. But before we get into that, let's find out your horse's estimated girth size. To get their estimated size, grab a buddy, your equipment, and a fabric tape measure. Tack up your horse with your saddle and any saddle pad or half pad you will ride in. To determine where the girth should sit, place one hand along the barrel, right behind the elbow. This is where most girths are going to want to settle. However, this may change based on your horse's conformation. For example, my horse Brighton has very pronounced shoulders that require me to sit the dressage saddle a little further back so that it won't impede his movement. When I do this, you can see that there is more than a hand's width behind his elbow. You might have to make adjustments to see where the girth wants to sit naturally on your particular horse. Another good trick is to saddle your horse with a loose girth and walk them around a bit. The saddle and girth will naturally migrate to the position it wants to be on your horse. After you know where the girth will sit, have a friend hold the tape measure showing the inch increments on approximately the middle billet hole on one side. This may change depending on the length of your billets. However, you do want to ensure that the middle billet hole is above the elbow. Stretch the tape across the horse's barrel to the corresponding billet hole on the other side of the saddle. The inch increment is the estimated girth size your horse will wear. If your horse is in between sizes or if you end up on an odd number, I suggest rounding up to the next size. Using this method, Brighton will wear a size 22-inch girth. Ideally, when the girth is tightened, you will have between 2 to 3 fingers of space between the end of the saddle pad and the end of the girth. This space is important because a girth that is too long could potentially pinch in between the end of the girth and the saddle pad. However, the goal is to have a short girth that is the longest possible version for your horse, and there are a few reasons for this. 1, the shorter length between the saddle tree and the girth will make the saddle more stable on the horse's back. 2, the excess billet that is not being covered up by the saddle pad or girth could potentially irritate the horse's skin. And 3, you want the buckles of the girth to be above the horse's elbow so that when the horse's leg swings back, the elbow does not make contact with the buckles of the girth. As you can see, Brighton's dressage girth fits him well as it fulfills all the criteria I talked about. One factor to consider when choosing a girth is the length of the girth. There is some discrepancies between sizes, as you can see here. Girths are typically measured from buckle end to buckle end. However, this none-finder girth is actually longer than the professional choice girth, and that is because of the placement of the buckles. See, the buckles are set back a little bit further on the none-finder girth, and there is some space between the buckle and the end of the girth. However, the professional choice girth buckles are right at the end. This is an important factor to consider when purchasing a girth. Another factor to consider is the length of your saddle pad. If you have a horse like mine who's on the smaller side, I chose to find a saddle pad that has a shorter drop, which is the length between the spine and the end of the saddle pad. And I did this because I needed the buckles on my girth to go above his elbow, and a saddle pad with a longer drop would have prevented this. So the most important thing is to find tack that works for your horse's conformation and will allow them to work comfortably. The last factor to consider is when you tighten your girth, as you want to maintain a 2 to 3 finger length between the saddle pad and the girth while not having to over-tighten the girth. When you do tighten the girth, remember to do it gradually and evenly on both sides. When tightening to the point where you would get on, you should be able to slide your hand in between the girth and the horse's skin and have it feel firm but not bone crushing. You can also test the tightness of your girth by sliding your fingers in between the middle of the girth and the horse's heart groove. If you can't slide your finger in, the girth is too tight. We hope this how-to video helps you find the perfect dressage girth for your horse. For more how-to videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and to see our selection of dressage girths, please visit us at ridingwarehouse.com.